Let me paint you a picture. You've spent 30 or 40 years working hard, saving consistently, and doing everything right. You've got a solid nest egg, maybe $400,000, maybe $600,000, maybe more. You're heading into retirement feeling confident and prepared. And then your doctor tells you you need full-time care, or your spouse does. Suddenly, that nest egg that was supposed to last the rest of your life starts disappearing at $8,000, $9,000, even $10,000 a month. And here's the part that breaks my heart when I see it happens to families. They had a plan. They just had the wrong one. Today, we're going to talk about why I'll just pay for care out of my own savings. What's called self-insuring is one of the riskiest retirement assumptions you can make. And I'm going to show you what actually works instead. I'm Shonda Prescott, and welcome to Retirement Security Simplified, where we cut through the confusion so you can retire with confidence. So first, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what self-insuring for long-term care actually means. It simply means this. Instead of using an insurance product or an annuity to cover your potential long-term care costs, you plan to pay for it yourself, directly out of your savings, your investments, or your retirement accounts. And honestly, on the surface, it sounds completely reasonable. You might be thinking, I've got enough saved. I'm healthy. I'll just set money aside and use it if I ever need it. In fact, this is probably the most common long-term care plan in America right now. Most people don't have a formal plan at all. They just assume their savings will cover it. The problem is, when you actually run the numbers, and we're going to do that right now, the math tells a very different story. Let's talk about what long-term care actually costs, because most people significantly underestimate this number. According to recent national data, here's what you can expect to pay. A home health aide, someone who comes to your home to help you with daily activities, runs between $60,000 and $70,000 per year. An assisted living facility where you have your own room or apartment with meals and some level of support costs between $55,000 and $65,000 per year on average. And a private room in a nursing home, full skilled nursing care, runs between $100,000 and $120,000 per year. In higher cost of living states, that number can push even higher. Now, here's where it gets serious. It's not just the cost per year, it's how many years you might need care. The average long-term care event lasts about 2.5 to 3 years, but a significant number of people, particularly women, need care for 5 years or longer. Let's do some simple math. 3 years in a nursing home at $110,000 per year equals $330,000. And that's before we factor in inflation, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But here's what really catches couples off guard. Both spouses may need care, sometimes at overlapping times. Now, you're not just talking about $330,000 per year. You could be looking at $500,000, $600,000 or more. That is a retirement altering number for most families. Now, some of you are watching this and thinking, okay, but I have enough saved to handle that, and maybe you do, on paper, today. But let me walk you through 4 reasons why your savings may not be as protected as you think. The first is healthcare inflation. Long-term care costs don't rise at the same rate as general inflation. Healthcare costs, and nursing care in particular, tend to increase at 5 to 7% per year. That means the cost of care in 10 or 15 years, when you're most likely to need it, could be significantly higher than it is today. The second is what I call the sequence of withdrawals problem. In retirement, you're likely already drawing income from your savings to cover your living expenses. If a major long-term care expense hits at the same time, you're now pulling from that portfolio twice, for income and for care. That kind of double withdrawal can permanently damage your financial plan. The third is the healthy spouse problem. If one spouse needs expensive care, you can't simply spend down every asset on that care because the other spouse still needs to live. Federal and state Medicaid rules do provide some protections here, but the spousal resource allowance is limited, and navigating that process can be extremely stressful. And the fourth reason is this: most of us simply underestimate our own odds. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, about 70% of people who reach age 65 will need some form of long-term care during their lifetime. 7 out of 10. This is not a rare event. This is a very common retirement reality. Now, beyond the obvious expense of care itself, there are hidden costs that most people never factor into their self-insurance plan, and these costs can be just as devastating. The first is family caregiver burnout. A lot of people quietly assume, well, my kids will help take care of me. And many adult children do step in out of love. But informal caregiving is not free. It takes an enormous physical, emotional, and financial toll on the caregiver. It can strain marriages, affect the grandchildren, and create family tension that lasts for years. Related to that is lost income. When an adult child becomes a primary caregiver, they often reduce their working hours or leave their job entirely to provide care. That's lost wages, lost retirement contributions, and a disruption to their own financial future. Then there are home modification costs. If you want to receive care at home, which most people prefer, your home may need significant modifications. Ramps, grab bars, stair lifts, widened doorways, accessible bathrooms. These renovations can easily run anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 or more. And finally, there's the cost of care coordination itself. Someone has to find the right providers, manage schedules, communicate with doctors, and handle the paperwork. Whether that's a family member's time or a professional care manager's fees, it is real and ongoing costs. When you add all of this together, the true cost of a long-term care event is almost always higher than the number you see on the nursing home brochure. So if self-insuring doesn't work for most people, what does? Let me give you 3 options worth exploring. The first is a hybrid life insurance and long-term care product. These are policies that combine life insurance with a long-term care benefit. If you need care, the policy pays for it. If you never need care, the death benefit passes to your heirs. You get protection either way. Your premium is never wasted. The second option is a fixed index annuity with a long-term care or chronic illness rider. This is the one I want to spend a little extra time on because it's a powerful combination that a lot of people aren't aware of. With certain fixed index annuities, or FIAs, you can add a rider that may double your income benefit if you qualify for a long-term care event, meaning you can't perform 2 or more of the 6 activities of daily living without assistance. So instead of receiving, say, $3,000 a month in guaranteed income, you might receive $6,000 a month during a care period. That enhanced income is specifically designed to help cover care costs without destroying the rest of your retirement assets. The third option is what's called asset-based long-term care planning. This is where you take an existing asset, maybe a CD that's just rolling over, a savings account earning minimal interest, or a non-performing investment, and reposition it into a product that provides leveraged long-term care, or LTC, protection. You're not spending additional money, you're just repositioning money you already have to work harder for you. The bottom line across all three strategies is this: you don't have to choose between protecting your retirement income and planning for long term care. The right product can accomplish both at the same time. So let's bring this home. Self insuring for long term care sounds disciplined and responsible, and I completely understand why so many people default to it. But when you look at the real cost of care, the duration of care, the impact of inflation, and all the hidden costs we just walked through, the math simply doesn't support it for most families. The goal here isn't to scare you, it's to make sure you're making this decision with your eyes wide open, not finding out the hard way after a care event has already started. Because here's the truth: the families I've seen handle long term care well weren't the ones with the most money. They were the ones who planned ahead and put the right strategy in place before they needed it. If you're a pre retiree or retiree who wants to understand how healthcare costs, long term care, Social Security, and guaranteed income all fit together in your specific situation, please check out the link in the description box below and get the free booklet, Avoid Mistakes in Buying LTC Insurance. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos, and drop a comment below telling me, what is your current plan for long-term care costs? I read every comment and I'd love to hear from you. I'm Shonda Prescott, and this is Retirement Security Simplified, where we specialize in turning confusion into confidence, one conversation at a time.